What's up, everybody? It's Underground Anthony Fantano here. Now I'm playing its Mystery Midnight Sun music as we venture forth. Coming to you live, doing music review number 2. You can go watch number 1 of America's Most Haunted, Undead Kings, on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get into it. The King in Yellow by Gruesome. Under Slaughter Visions, part of Ill Tricks, part of Cerberus Click. Go check out all this music, you know. And before we get into these things, like, I'm always going to recommend, especially in a time where music is kind of chopped up into singles and everything like that, I'm always going to recommend that you listen to these projects from start to finish, you know. That's the best way I like to consume music, especially when it's new projects. Now, The King in Yellow's been out for a little bit now here, but I actually hadn't got around to listening to the full thing for a while. I did hear some of the singles that he released prior, but this was the first time I got to sit down and listen to it start to finish. Such a great album. I'm going to get into kind of just, you know, I like to do a little bit of a backstory before I get into these things. I was first introduced to Doc before he was Doc Gruesome. Back when Ill Tricks had like 20 people in the group. No, I'm playing, but no, they had like, I think it was six members in Ill Tricks. I'd met them when I lived in South Lake Tahoe and just doing them through the music scene over there in Reno. So shout out to all my Reno riders out there. You know what's up. I think his rap name at the time was Freak Show, like on some Super Juggalo stuff. So that's when I first kind of met him. Now, I was more friends with Maniac and Effect. I'm the closest probably with Maniac, but I always, you know, showed love to him whenever I'd see any of them at any of the shows or the gatherings or anything like that. So I met Doc through, I met him a couple of different times, just like I said, through the music scene. We've done a few shows together just throughout the years. This is, you know, 10 plus years ago, when I was really grinding out hard doing shows and stuff like that. Met them, and I always showed respect to them. Those are some great guys. And since then, Doc has blossomed into this crazy artist. You know, he still goes super hard on Cerberus Click and Ill Tricks, but I think he's kind of getting his own personal shine right now, and that's super, super dope. Much respect to him. I'm so proud of that guy, man. And he deserves all the flowers that he's getting, you know what I mean? So I've known Doc for about 10 plus years. I've actually gotten even closer with all of them, like I've said in the past video, since these last couple of years where I was trying to do a better job of actually talking to people and like building these connections, you know what I mean? So yeah, again, let's get into it. The King in Yellow, it's a great album. The first thing I think you were going to notice is the Lovecraft theme by H.P. Lovecraft, I think is his name. I'm not really versed in a lot of the stuff. I actually had to do a little bit of the research, but he's the guy that brings the lore of like Cthulhu and stuff like that, if you're not familiar with that stuff. So the album kind of goes into a little bit of explaining who the King in Yellow is. In this case, Doc has taken the monicron of the King in Yellow. It's really dope. The album is full of like a whole bunch of mix of different types of music. Really in the dark hip hop, trap feel. He goes really hard on one of these tracks specifically with just some straight metal, like death metal going hard. He actually has another surprising track in here that's kind of more clubby, and we'll get into that when we get into it. But you're never really bored while you're listening to this album. You know, that's the first thing I want to say is it's something that's keeping my attention the whole time. When I was listening to it start to finish, I couldn't wait to get to the next track, and I'm a little glad that I listened to it in order and didn't cheat as much other than hearing the singles that he had released, you know. So yeah, The King in Yellow is again from that lore, and it's just like this dark king. Again, I'm not too well versed in all this stuff, but it's a great feel, and you could tell that Doc has really embodied this character throughout this album. The intro is really dope. You can hear the bass is acting as like a heartbeat for the intro, and it's kind of like what I assume is like the king's awakening. It talks of the talisman that's connected to the king in yellow, and that's that symbol that you're seeing along a lot of on the merch. If you got the jerseys and stuff like that, you've seen it on some of the promo and stuff like that. So it's speaking of the talisman, and it's just a short little track intro, kind of to set the mood for like what's to come, you know. The first real rap track, well, the first track on the whole album that he's actually rapping and doing music on is track 2, Carcosa. Now, if I'm fucking up any of these names or anything like that, do excuse me, but I'm just reading off as how I thought it was spelled. Carcosa is really great. Production throughout the whole album, I believe, I'm not sure 100%, I'm sure he might have dipped into a couple of different people producers wise, but I believe the majority of it is from Bank Hard Beats, the homie Bad Mind over there. I got some stuff with him as well that I just copped, so be on the lookout for that. But this guy's production is through the roof. It's amazing. I'm not 100% sure if he's also doing the mixing and mastering for all of it, but whoever is on all these tracks, it's God mode. It's amazing. So. Track 2, I feel always in most cases sets the album as like saying like an I'm Here track, or here's the intro to the actual album. I mean, the intro kind of sets up the lore, but I feel like track 2 is really like the intro to the album, as far as like this is like your first song that you're getting, you know what I mean? One thing I noticed is one of the lines he used in there was heavy is the head that wears the crown. And if you've been following Doc and his crew and everything, you can see that they've gone through a huge trajectory boost, just doing shows everywhere, getting featured. I mean, they've been everywhere, you know what I mean, especially Doc. And I think there's a line in there that is like the old saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown. This is just my interpretation of it, but I think it's kind of talking to all the BS and all the stuff that comes with fame, you know, and just, or success rather, not even so much fame, but just with success, you know. So to watch him just go and have all these accomplishments and doing all this cool stuff, you know, there's a side that you're not seeing. You're not seeing the struggles. You're not seeing the late nights in the studios, you know what I mean? Trying to balance out your other life while you're taking on this persona and everything like that, you know what I mean? He also has a line in there that says it's hard to be the chosen one, which again kind of adds to that same effect where he is the king. He's had to go through blood, sweat, and tears to reach this level, and I really just like that. You know, one thing I really like that Doc has been doing too is if you haven't listened to his self-titled album Doc Gruesome, which I believe is his first like real solo record as Doc Gruesome, you'll see that his aesthetic is his mask. And as he's going, you are seeing like different shucks, what's the word I'm looking here? You're seeing these different masks as he's like evolving as an artist, you know what I mean? Kind of setting the mood with everything. I know recently he had got the head tat of the Crown of Thorns on there, and this is kind of like his Crown of Thorns era. He has the mask that has the detachable head of a Crown of Thorns. Really cool. So I just really like that it's evolving. I believe he's actually getting a new mask, or has a new mask ready for his next album and stuff like that. So it's just cool to see these masks change and progress, even though they still all kind of fit the original like zipper face kind of mask going on. It is really cool to see that the masks are evolving or fitting to these different albums that he's coming up with. How many tracks is this thing? I'm gonna try go a little faster, not ramble as much. This is 18 tracks of pure fire. as opposed to the 10 for AMH. So I want to make sure that I'm not just sticking on one topic for too long. It's a hard-hitting track. It was also the first single. I think of 3 singles he released, this is the first single. And I heard this track prior to the album, but just like how it fits in the album just adds to it so much more. So really dope. That was track 2, Carcosa. It leads to track 3, which right off the bat, I had put into my top 3. Track 3, Colorblind, I put it into the top 3 instantly. I could tell that it was just back to, like I said, going back to how much he's evolved. He's now trying different sounds and everything. He's always been a dope rapper. He's always been a good artist, but it's cool to see him kind of step out of his comfort zone for what I know him as, and him really doing stuff different on this album. For instance, in Colorblind, it's almost more of like a ballad feeling with like a rock ballad almost, and he's singing really well on it. It's definitely a struggle track. Colorblind is kind of adding to the fact that, you know, it's a wallow kind of a track. Colorblind's basically saying he can't see anything in the darkness. All he could see is black and gray. So he's he's painting this picture of all these emotions that he's seeing, being colorblind. And for someone that is actually colorblind, and shut the hell up if you already know that I'm colorblind, and don't be asking me no damn questions about what colors stuff is when I'm out there. But yeah, this ended up being my favorite track of the whole album. And again, not to take away from any of these other tracks, but this song is great. I listened to it a couple of times just so I could get good notes on it, and I mean, I listened to it even more times, threw it on some playlists just because I was like, man, this is doing amazing. I love this track. I also like when you can, my favorite tracks are when they're like internal tracks, you know, about like self-perception and just like talking about struggle and everything like that. And he does a great job. The chorus is amazing. He's singing and he sounds good. He's not like stepping out of pocket like, oh man, you really shouldn't be doing that, you know. And he fits everything together. He makes everything go together so great. So track 3, Colorblind, my favorite track of the album. Please go check it out. Which brings us to our next guy here. Track 4, Gang Shit. Now, right off the bat, you get a one, you know, number 2, Carcosa, you're just getting Doc doing his thing solo. And then the next track, you're getting a kind of like 360 from that first track. And then track 4 is the first one that you're getting features on. And this is like his Omega posse cut. Obviously you could tell from the name, Gang Shit. Featuring the Cerberus Clique, which is this camp. It's like basically this super group of Slaughter Visions. Book of the Dead, I kind of referenced it, I believe, in video 1 or music review number 1. They just released it today that Book of the Dead 2 is coming, so be ready for that. Now, I may or may not have heard just little bits in that, and I can only tell you, like, please go listen to this, you know what I mean? It's going to be amazing, you know. I haven't heard the whole thing as entirety. I've literally heard, like, just a couple of verses from one of the homies on Cerberus Clique, so I hope I'm not spilling no beans or nothing like that. But yeah, it's I haven't heard title tracks. I don't know who's on it, except for from today. I know C to 6 is on it, Worms on it. Shout out to Vile House. But yeah, they just got released today. So Cerberus Clique is like, it's the super group with all of them rapping on there, and Bad Mind does even though he's the producer, he still is part of the Cerberus Clique doing his thing as far as production and stuff like that. It's really super dope. Oh My God, It's Sue and Trey Xavier. I've seen a couple of music videos, and I believe Doc used to do a podcast with Oh My God, It's Sue, or OMG, It's Sue. And I know that's just really his boy. I was a dumbass and didn't go check the full roster for Slaughter Visions. And I know there's active and inactive artists always, you know, but I know there's people that aren't doing stuff necessarily right now that are still part of SV, you know what I mean? So I'm not 100% sure if Oh My God It's Sue and Trey Xavier are actually on Slaughter Visions, but I know they're very close homies, and to have them on a track with Cerberus Click is you got to really bring it. I mean, they're all killers, you know. So to come out like that is crazy. A lot of dark trap beats on this album. This being one. After Doc raps, the first person that you're hearing is ODP, Odd Prophet. Now, I'm partial to ODP because I've known him about as long, if not longer, than I've known Doc and them. I'm partial to them just because me and him talk all the time, me and Yami or Kiddo D. Me, Kiddo D, and Odd Prophet, we talk all the time. I got beats from him, verses, we got songs together and stuff. A lot of them we haven't heard yet, but it's coming out. So I might be partial to him, but also because, and I'm not capping here, I gotta say Odd Prophet's got top 10 best rap voices of all time to me. Now, I know there's, you think of, Wayne, Be Real, stuff like have like very, the DOC, people that have these like very distinct voices, and I think ODP is up there. And the way he just comes in right after, I even texted him the other day. I was like, this is almost not fair when you get, this was about another feature, but I almost texted him, like, it's not almost not fair when you start getting on these features, The way he comes in is ridiculous. And it's so go check it out. Right after Odd Prophet, then it's Maniac. I believe then it's Trey Xavier, then Lapse, and then Oh My God It's Sue. I might have Trey Xavier and Oh My God It's Sue backwards, but I'm pretty sure I have that right. So if you need to check me in the comments, please do. Again, I think the shining star here is Odd Prophet on this track. Not that everyone just didn't demolish this track, but the way ODP came in was just, it was God level. So go check out Odd Prophet stuff as well. Go get that Distortion pre-order. It's going to be insane. I haven't even seen such a cool merch bundle in like a long time like that, except for when you did pre-order the King in Yellow. Doc did have the shucks, I forgot what the actual name was. Oh, the Oddity, like the little jar with the little like tentacle in there, which I believe also references the King in Yellow. This track live, I can only imagine it. Like if they did Gorefest again and they were doing this track, like I feel bad for anyone that has to go on after them with this. This is definitely track 2. And actually I had to go in there, or this is my second favorite track. I actually had to go back into the notes and switch them because I couldn't figure out if Gang Shit or if Colorblind was my favorite. And I finally just decided on Colorblind. So this has got to be, out of the top 3, this has got to be number 2, just right after Colorblind. It's amazing. The beat is sick. And again, I am also a sucker for posse cuts. Like, I am a big sucker for that. Back in like the 3-6 Mafia days when they always used to have all of HCP on their album at the very end there. So, I'm a big sucker for posse cuts. So, that's why I think it ranks so high. So, that was track 4. Track 5 is Work. Again, I'm pretty sure it's produced by Bad Mind. You could tell a Bad Mind beat just from like the incredible production. He doesn't always keep it in the same vein either. Go check out bankhardbeats.com to get some stuff. He's got a really great deal. He's worked with, even his promo just says, I've worked with everyone, because he had everyone's name on there, and it was just gotten to the point where he's like, there's no one that probably doesn't have a Bankhard beat at this point if you're really doing some dope shit, you know what I mean? Standout things for this track for me were he has a she threw it back like Rikishi line. That is goated. I love that line. Verse 2, I'm remembering, he gets into his like choppy flow, and me personally haven't heard too much chopping from him, and he did it immaculately. So yeah, he was rapping his ass off on this one, but that threw it back like Rikishi line really, really did it for me. Let's see, track 6, Tooth Decay, featuring Odd Prophet. Now this was a really nice thing too, because they're both really good at this, and I think a lot of the people on Slaughter Visions are good, is because they're always working with so many people. It's not just the same style and tone that they do every time they rap. So if you go listen to the 2 EPs, actually I think they're albums, Odd Prophet and Doc Gruesome did Death Gods and Death Cult, and they were like projects that were, I believe, I thought it was a group, but I think it's just like a series of projects, and they mixed a lot of hard rock scream stuff and beats in there, and they were rapping their asses off as well. So even though we just heard Doc and ODP going back to back on gang shit, it's a totally different vibe. You don't just feel like they're just filling in these verses with just whatever stuff, you know what I mean? I really like the melody for the instrumental. It had this the chorus like had this big chanty thing about it, and the beat just brought it out so much more. And in my notes right there, ODP's voice is top 10 rap voices in my opinion. I can't get over that. But yeah, it's just grimy. It just sounds like Odd Prophet. He just gets it in there. But yeah, so this was really nice having them back to back and doing their thing without it just sounding like, oh, it sounds like Doc and them. It actually almost sounds like them on Death Gods or Death Cult. Let's see, next track here. Track 7, Wartime. Extremely hard beat. It had this like guitar in it that sets the tone for Doc's delivery. I mean, it was super hard. Just like it has a big trap feel to it, but it's like it's going so hard. I mean, it almost sounds like, and not to make it sound like he's sounding like someone, but it has like a big city morgue feel. Who I love those guys. I mean, I was literally like waiting for Sos Mula to come in almost, because it was like it would have fit him perfectly, you know what I mean? But it was just, again, live, I couldn't even imagine this track. So yeah, that was track 7, Wartime. It's really good. It's just hard hitting, makes you want to punch someone's mother type stuff, you know what I mean? So track 8, Menace to Society, featuring Mad Max and Cody Manson. Cody Manson of Trife Life and LSP. Mad Max, you know him from Mission Infect. He's on Dirtcore Music right now. I have him up for Album of the Year, and I'm not just talking about in the underground, I'm talking about everywhere. Album of the Year, Mad Max Kaleidoscope. He just dropped that. I'm going to do a review for that, and I just wanted a little bit of time to be able to digest that album a little bit more, because I just loved it so much, and I didn't want to be, you know, I'm only pointing out the things in these reviews that I liked about the albums. So not that I needed to like digress it or not digest it to like find out the stuff I didn't like. It was just one of those things where it hit me in such a place that I wanted it to wait to like listen to it again so I could get notes, instead of all the notes just being like, this is the album of the year, you know. But yeah, Kaleidoscope, Mad Max, album of the year for me. Mad Max and Cody Manson, it was really cool. If you listen to Kaleidoscope, he's got Doc on his album as well, on the song called Lovecraftian, which, again, H.P. Lovecraft, like, talks to the lore. It's in that same vein. It's got Loki on there and stuff like that. It's really dope. So go listen to that, but that's where I heard them. They rap really well together. I really enjoyed that. Doc's also worked with Cody Manson. They just released a review, or they just released a new music video called Euthanized. I believe it was shot by Worm, and I believe that Laps did the editing on it. So go watch that. I'm reading my notes off here, so if you see me chuckle, it's because I kind of forgot. Oh, I got a call here. Now, sorry, I had a phone call there. I have a note in here that says "little bitch ad lib," It's not even really an ad lib. It's just a line that Doc says a lot throughout his music. Little bitch, it's great, and I just really liked where it was placed in here. You could hear it a couple of times through the album, and it's just like it's almost like his like patented move. You know what I mean? Let's see here, and let's see. Sorry, I keep getting a call here. Now, we got Mad Max on the second verse. We got Doc first, Mad Max on the second verse, Cody Manson on the third verse. I love that. All right, we're back. Sorry, I kept getting phone calls here, and I was trying to just ignore, but it wasn't happening. So like I said, Doc Gruesome, then Mad Max, then Cody Manson. I was just getting ready to say that I love that they all have different styles, and they all have a different vein that they rap in, but it sounds cohesive on the track, which is really dope. They all fit together. It meshes really well together. I really enjoy that. So it's a really good track, super hard. And obviously it's got Menace to Society, which is one of my favorite gangster movies of like all time. Or Don't Be a Menace in South Central. Kind of touches in there as well. Standout lines for me was Doc has a DDP reference from Wrestling Diamond Dallas Page. Had a reference in there, and then he also has an O-Dog reference, which is the other main character in Menace to Society. So it was really cool just hearing those things. And again, all three of these guys, they sound different than they would just basically on their own music. You know, when I was listening to Mad Max, I wasn't just hearing it and be like, oh, I heard all these same tricks on Kaleidoscope. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it was really dope. I've only listened to one project from Cody Manson. I've met him at the Gathering and everything like that. Really cool dude. And I loved his last project. What was it? E = MC Skelter. That was really dope. Go listen to that as well. But again, I didn't hear. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, this is just the same old Cody Manson verse again and again. It was really cool how Doc kind of set the table to have everyone just eat on this track. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Track 9, Love Hate. It's a nice break in the album because it's a little softer than the previous songs. And shout out to Doc Gruesome. This singing on him, it's different than anything of the other singing in the album whenever he does do it, very seldomly. I've never heard him like this prior to this album. I haven't really heard him really go. I feel like he just finally got to like step out of his bag, and just the execution was just amazing. His delivery is a little bit more laid back as well. It's not just like shoving bars down your throat. You know, it's a lot laid back. The song is kind of about like toxic relationships. Whether that be with a girl or with, a close homie or something like that, you know what I mean? I think it might be a specific, like, girl that he's talking about in the album or in the track, and it's really dope. This was also released prior. I think this might have been the second one that he released, the second single of the album, Love Hate, excuse me, and again, top 3. I'm a sucker for like kind of like softer tracks like that, you know. Even though Gang Shit is ridiculous, and it's definitely number 2. I would have to put this one at number 3, but it's definitely the top 3 tracks. And I would say Colorblind and this track are a lot closer, but the way everyone just demolished it on Gang Shit was just ridiculous. Let's see here. Track 10, Backbreaker featuring Stray and Novice. I'm not familiar with Stray and Novice. I'm not exactly sure who was who when the verse came on. Obviously, when you hear Doc, you know what's going on. I haven't got the time to listen to Stray and Novice, so no disrespect or nothing like that. I just was unfamiliar with you, but I really enjoyed this track. So if there was an introduction to these two people, I'm glad it was something like this where I was able to enjoy it regardless of not knowing who they were. You know what I mean? They fit the track. It didn't feel like if they were not on the track, it maybe wouldn't have been as dope. You know, if it was all Doc, it might have not that he wouldn't have been able to do a good job, but I just feel like they added something to the track that only they could have brought, you know. Couple of standout lines. One of them was he says, SB be the gang in which I bark, and it's like SV's the gang in which I bark, like he's barking and talking to fools. Also, like a reference to Cerberus Click, the dogs, the hellhounds, you know what I mean? So it was just like, when I heard it, it was just a really hard bar. Now, it does suck that I don't know who did this line, but someone has a line where it goes like, boom, and like they did the ad-libs and everything. I think it's even like a break in the beat. And I really wish I knew if it was Stray or Novice, but that was like another thing. So it was cool to have something stand out that wasn't just coming from Doc that I really enjoyed, and I'm kind of kicking myself in the ass that I don't know exactly who it was. Track 11, Haster. Yeah, I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but Haster is Doc. It is the King in Yellow. Haster is the King in Yellow in the Lovecraftian lore. I did a little research. The King in Yellow is the half brother of Cthulhu. I didn't want to go too deep. It's not like it's a concept album, but it's not like here's a story. It's not like a story album, you know what I mean? It's just like he's picking up essences from things, you know what I mean? And this is just like a moniker that he's took on in this album. So Haster is the King in Yellow. That would be like the real name from him. This song, Doc is just on his king shit. He's talking his shit. It's just on some like I'm him energy type thing. The Chosen One on. Oh, he's on his king shit. He says I'm the Chosen One again, referencing it again, and he's just like I said, it's just like really coming at it hard. It's a shorter track, but it's straight to the point. And now it's not very short. It's not a very short, just in comparison to the other songs, right? And I kind of like it when he's given us a lot at this point in this album. So to have like kind of like a short, sweet track, sometimes you got to kind of cut it off before it gets too redundant or anything. So I kind of like it when they might cut the track a little short and it kind of leaves you wanting more, as opposed to finding like a lull in the song that you're like, yeah, the other two verses are dope, but I don't like this one, or something like that. So I kind of like that it is a track that you listen to and you almost gotta have to replay it to get that energy, because he's leaving you wanting more in this scenario. The next track is track 12, Catch a Body, featuring the Michigan Misfits. I was introduced to the Michigan Misfits through a homegirl of mine that lives in Virginia, and she put me on to them. I like their stuff. I haven't listened to a whole lot of it, but I've seen or heard a couple of songs and everything like that. So it's Michigan Misfits. I'm not exactly sure who the members are. I know it's two of them, but I don't know their names. I just put it in there as Michigan Misfits again. And no disrespect to these features if I don't know who you are, haven't done my homework on you. This is just really me trying to give Doc his shine. So I'm not trying to take away from you. I'm just trying to make sure Doc gets his props, you know what I mean? Especially since he's kind of like orchestrating the whole album. Dope intro, as far as like it sounds like a score to a movie. Like it's got like this cool intro prior to like any lyrics or anything. The tempo's a lot slower, and it adds to the hard-hitting lyrics where you want to listen to what they're saying. And I really enjoyed it. Back to Michigan Misfits, they also have they both have really good delivery, and it's different than Doc's, so it complements Doc. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, you know, sometimes when you hear like, this isn't a chopper track, but just for instance, like when you hear chopper tracks, sometimes you're just getting 3 different ways that you can do that. And so it becomes a little like, it's not as good as if there was only one chopper on the track and he's the only one doing that style. So it's not like you're hearing 3 of the same verse when Michigan Misfits come on. And they really add to the track as a whole. Getting down here. Track 13, The Sign. Doc again coming in with some more light singing on this track. This song, it's like remnant of like some Dark Lotus, where it's like kind of like this darker, melodic, singy stuff on there. Kind of remember some stuff off Opaque Brotherhood. And I only said that because that's where my brain went when I heard. Again, if I'm comparing people, it's not to say like you sound like this. It just has that feel to me. You know, music is all about feeling, and I don't want to ever say like, oh, this sounded like this or this. You know what I mean? It gives me that same energy that what I do when I listen to Dark Lotus or the other track where I thought it kind of sounded like City Moore could have been on it. You know, it's not that he's biting any style or anything. It just has that same type of energy. I caught myself vibing when I was trying to do notes here. I caught myself vibing to the chorus, and I kind of had to like kind of snap out of it and restart the track because it do just get lost in like kind of this like dark beauty that he's like brought up into the track. Again, a little shorter but straight to the point, leaves you wanting more, and I really enjoyed that. Track 14, Overdose, featuring Choir Boy Dank. You know Choir Boy Dank from Swag Tooth with Ouija Mac, and I know they've had a falling out and everything, so hope I'm not bringing up any old bullshit or nothing like that, but that's where I was first introduced to Choir Boy. His production is ridiculous, and I believe if you listened to or seen any of those old Swag Tooth videos, I believe he had a huge hand in recording those videos, and that's how I thought personally too, because he has this way of using like autotune and like effects on his voice that when I was listening to Swag Tooth, I 100% thought he was like the lead guy, because I was just like, oh, this is the dude. Like, this guy is the one making the beats and doing the videos, and he's coming with this different energy that like I should have did some homework on the Swag Tooth because it's been a while since I listened to him, but he has a very melodic flow, and I really enjoyed that in this. It was cool to hear him in this track and compliment Doc as well. Doc, I believe, says something in there about this shit. Just obviously Overdose is talking about like, you know, battles with drugs or addictions or vices. I don't even want to just say strictly about drugs, but just like vices. And excuse me if I fuck this up, but he has a line in here that says, "This shit just took my best friend's life," and I believe he's talking about EJ Prophet, rest in peace. Another member of the Cerberus clique. This is actually kind of full circle right now. EJ just released music with Swag Tooth. I forgot the damn name, but it just came out like literally within the last 2 days. Go listen to that project. Support him any way that you can, one of our fallen comrades. I never got the honor to meet him or anything like that, but I'm always going to show love to people that I really fuck with love, you know, and I know that he was a big part of Cerberus clique, and I've never heard a whack verse from him. His shit's always going hard, so I believe Doc touches on that in this song a little bit, and it did kind of fuck me up because it was just something that I was like, man, for someone that has gone through stuff like that with friends, it really did kind of mess me up a little bit. So, rest in peace. Go listen to that new EJ Prophet project with Swag Tooth on there, and cop a shirt. I'm pretty sure they're doing something with the proceeds or anything that goes like to EJ stuff. So please go listen to that. Go stream it. It's out everywhere. There's no way you can't find it if you just look for it a little bit. Again, back to the track. Choir Boy comes in very melodic. It's actually, he has like a before, because he can rap his ass off. I don't want to make it sound like, I know I've been talking up on his like melodic stuff, but he could really rap. So the way he comes into this verse, I almost thought it was like a bridge he was doing, but the way he starts his verse is very melodic before he gets to his rapping. And when you could do both of those things and weave in and out of it, I was very impressed. It was really dope. And then I believe he comes back out of the rapping into the melodic thing. So it's very hard to do going into so many styles, you know what I mean, in such a short amount of time as far as a song is concerned. A line in the song says, "I can't overdose, I ain't did enough." I believe that's from Choir Boy. I forgot to put it in here, but I can't overdose, I ain't did enough. Yeah, that is him. That is such a hard line. I can't overdose, I ain't did enough. Man, I don't know. It's just, it says so much without saying too much type of a deal, you know? This track I was waiting to talk about. So track 15, Cobain. Now, this is a great palate cleanser for the album. Now, there are a lot of sounds in there, but there are a lot of similarities throughout the beat to make it the beats to make it cohesive. Cobain takes like kind of like a hard left, and it's like it uses this synth, and it's kind of got this like incredible bop to it that's like almost like you could hear it in the club, even though the content that Doc is saying is like dark, you know what I mean? So it's really dope. And he's got like in the hook, he says, I live fast, die young, I live like, it sounds dope. Like it's a great palate cleanser. It also, even though it's so different, it's not a track that you're like, why is this on this album? You know what I mean? It's like I said, it's a great palate cleanser. And actually the next track does that as well. But yeah, the Live Fast Die Young thing is really dope because it's like, you know, obviously the track's called Cobain, so like you should get that reference right off the bat. It's really very memorable. And it's really cool that this is a very standout track. I gave it an honorable mention as far as like, I chose my top 3, but it is the most unique song on here, and I was enjoying it. Like you could throw it on, and I'm guaranteed like bitch is gonna be dancing to it. But if you listen to the actual lyrics, it's like crazy that he's able to like give up this like kind of like upbeat energy, but the content is like a lot darker. You know what I mean? So yeah, Cobain, that is a honorable mention. Not the top 3 for me, but it's definitely one of the standout tracks. Track 16, Tempter. Yeah, Tempter. Yeah, again, if I'm fucking these up, my bad, Doc. Featuring Marcus Daniel. It's like another palate cleanser. So we get up to track 15, we get that kind of like clubby music, and then it just flips the script right into the like major death metal. After it's got hard guitars, Marcus is like going ridiculous on the hook, and when it drops, it goes right back to like the patented Doc sound. It's really dope. There's a bridge after the second chorus that ties everything together really well, and I like a good amount of like really heavy metal stuff like that. I'm not like the biggest fan of it, you know what I mean? But I was able to, this is definitely in the top songs that I like of that like genre or that vein, I'll call it, because it gave me what I like about songs as far as like Doc coming in with like rapping, darker like a feel to it. But Marcus Daniel is a great vocalist. I would really be like looking for some stuff for him in the future with Doc, especially because I feel like they meshed really well. I think Doc might be doing ad-libs as well to add to it. I don't know if he's doing like a layer of screams as well, or it's all Marcus, but it was a really good track. It was also the last single that they released before the album. The cover art was really super dope. This was one of the ones I heard before. I think I had listened to all 3 of the singles before I actually listened to this album because I had just been seeing them and I try to support and share whenever I can. So, yeah, last single before that he actually dropped the album. Track 17, second to last track. It's A Pussy, not A Pussy, but A Pussy, second to last track. It reminds me of Wartime a little bit. The track earlier in the album, you get his little bitch fucking line in there again, which I really enjoy. I heard him say it on a couple of songs. He doesn't say it like every time or nothing like that, but it's just something that I really enjoy, and it's like it reminds me of like if you hear that, you know it's Doc, and it's just like I like that it's tied to him at that point. You know, everyone always like artists always try to have like an ad lib or a sound or something that they tie to. You know, like Tech Nine with his like "cha" or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So this was really dope. I really like when Doc says "a little bitch." You know, a couple of things that stood out was he has the line says "rearrange your teeth without a fucking dentist." Definitely a song, if they did it live, that you were definitely going to want to mosh to. I really, really would love to see this live, actually. Again, a little bit shorter of a song. I think this song, and I can't remember the name of it, but I think it's one of the shortest songs of the album. But again, I would rather have it where I'm looking for more as opposed to not getting enough types thing. Or excuse me, I'd be wanting more other than like getting too much rather. So I really enjoyed how he went about it. The last track, Silverback, featuring Buckshot of mob style music. You know Buckshot, if you've been to the gatherings, if you're just in the underground scene as general, he's one of the top people as far as like independent artists. You can go look at Cabal. It was like him, Loki, and I believe Mr. Gray. That's like a super group that they've made. I'm a huge fucking Loki mark. I love Loki. He does great music. I was able to get him on one of my tracks, and he might be my favorite underground artist as far as hustle, lyrics, style, being able to put people on. Neon Sermon, go listen to that. He's got like he has a whole bunch of songs produced by Seven, which did a lot of like the Tech Nine beats at one point and like the stuff like that. So go listen to Loki. But yeah, as far as Buckshot, also from Underground Avengers for their first album, and then when they got onto Magic Ninja Entertainment, really dope. I'm not the biggest Buckshot fan, to be honest with you, but that's not to say he's not dope. It's just the music's not for me, but I can respect the ridiculous hustle. I can respect, especially the stuff that he says in the song. Much love to Buckshot. It was really super dope. I believe Doc was just featured on one of his newer songs recently. If it was on one of the albums, I think it might have been one of the Halloween ones. Maybe it had to have been something newer. But so I know that they've been messing with each other for a minute. Much respect to them both. So it's nice that we're actually getting Buckshot on some Doc Gruesome stuff now, as opposed to it being the other way around. As far as things I respect, and again, Buckshot has this line that says, "Do this shit for EJ, start a mosh pit," and that's really dope. Because when you're getting features from people, it's cool when they're just gonna like do it for the love or whatever and just kind of do their thing. But it's another special thing when they're shouting you out or referencing stuff from your music, you know what I mean? Because that means that they actually listen, they actually know what's going on. It kind of like shows the fans like how close him and Doc really are, because he knows the severity of like showing love to EJ. He also shouts out Cerberus Click. He says Cerberus in there. And again, I love when you get a collab and they shout you out or they reference your shit. It's really dope. Doc and Maniac, I have Gatekeepers featuring Illtrix, and Doc and Maniac did that for me. And it was really super dope, because I actually have a few lines referencing them, because I made the song catered to them, as far as like, you couldn't just, in my verse, I'm talking about effect, and I use their play on words with Maniac and Doc's names and stuff like that. And I even say Illtrix. So there's no way that I could have had anyone else in that song. It had to have been them. So they did that for me. They shouted me out on the verses, which was really dope for me. I got all giddy about it, you know what I mean? So I really love that Buck was able to do that for Doc in this situation as well. I'm going to wrap it up here just because I've been going for a minute. I want to make sure this video saves. But the King in Yellow, Slaughter Visions, Doc Gruesome, Cerberus Click. Doc is already getting stuff ready for the next album. He's getting a new mask, or he has a new mask. He's getting stuff ready. I'm sure we'll be seeing that here shortly. But yeah, much love to everyone at Slaughter Visions. Much love to y'all for listening to me rant about this music. Please go listen to all this stuff. I can't even tell you how much of a good album it was. I'm really super happy that I was able to listen to it. And another thing I like about these reviews is it's forcing me to listen to it with like a more keen ear, where I'm actually like paying attention. And not that I'm not ever paying attention, but it's like it makes me take the music different, because I have to listen to it with not just from as a fan point of view, but just like things that I really like about it. Sometimes you hear a song or something in an album, you're like, oh yeah, it was really cool, I listened to it. But it's nice for me to have to like point out the things I liked about it. So the next one, number 3, is going to be Purple Blankets by Worm from Vile House. I was able to listen to it early, so if you're watching this, Neener and all that, I believe it comes out October 13th, which is Worm's birthday. And so I'm going to have this ready to be done around the time that it comes out. And hope maybe I'll talk to him. Maybe I'll release it before, so that way you're getting like a taste for it, like you want to listen to it even more, as opposed to just hearing what I think about the album. I'm trying to catch up. I have a whole bunch of them in my queue, probably about 5 or 6 that I want to get out. But eventually, once I get them out, I want to start doing the stuff that's coming, so that way I can get people hyped up for the projects. So again, thank you for listening. As we venture forth, Midnight Sun Music, Mystery, Underground, Fantano here. You know what I mean? So we'll catch you next time, and much love.